abuse, the horrendous misdiagnosis and medication she was on, the scrambling of her mind, absolute nonsense. Nothing in her everything in her upbringing would signal that this woman needs help. Okay? At the very little, she deserves answers, because the questionable evidence that you've put forward is zero evidence. Miss Dorita. I hope you get good reception where you're in hiding. I hope you're paying attention. Okay? Because the fact that you have let your daughter down to this level and allowed speculation to flourish is what has left the McCanns in grieving and has brought distress to the McCanns. Do not even dare put this on Julia. You hold the key to all the answers, and you choose to go into hiding. Pathetic. It seems to have been her baby friend insist. Having split from Julia's father, I moved to Germany to reunite Julia, settle in a smart house in a wealthy suburb of the city, where her new partner, who is involved in finance, and she had a conventional and apparently stable upbringing. Did she? Conventional and stable upbringing, but then you're going to go on to tell us how she was removed from the school education. Okay? So which is it? There's so many contradictions in this. It sounds like somebody who's giving a public mask interpretation of what they think a good parent should be saying, but they can't back it up when Julia comes out with her 125-page PowerPoint presentation that destroys this entire narrative. It's bonkers. Bonkers. So where the hell are you, Dorita? Where are you? Because your daughter is currently still sat in a jail cell. What are you doing about it? What are you doing?
It's unbelievable. But the thing is, though, this is the thing I was telling you, that I like that documentary that I saw that guy reporting, because for me, it isn't that I was dismissive of her. To me, is that I am so convinced that Madeline is not missing,
100%.
But it would be so nice. It would be so nice if we could, kind of like,
if this had a freaking happy ending of some sorts.
No, okay. Or a closure.
Closure, sure.
If they had eliminated the parents completely, they followed proper investigation and everything, then I would be okay with it. I would say, okay, the parents were eliminated, all the evidence, all these doubts that we have are moved out of the way. But then, and you know what's so funny, because people, well, not funny, what's interesting is that people have said that because they're doctors, they don't show emotion. That is absolute BS. Do you know that the reason why, as a doctor, you are not allowed to operate or treat a relative is because of the emotional attachment? It's not the same. You cannot emotionally be detached to somebody that you care about. Then this is one of the first things they will tell you. You cannot treat a relative. That you cannot be the attending when there's something, because it's your kids. It's one of your kids, you forget you're a doctor. You forget your training. You know what I mean? This is your flesh and blood.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel about it. So for me, it was the way they reacted, all the inconsistencies, that documentary that presented so much evidence. Also, Gonzalo, the guy from Portugal, and that he countersued and he won. And the McCanns used the money that they were getting to fight the lawsuit against this Gonzalo.
Oh, and Paula has just been hit with a bolt of lightning out in Nicaragua. Let's just flip this over here. Once Paula puts the hamster back on the wheel and her internet comes back into fruition, we'll be back with Paula. But we have got a few people waiting in the call-in. What I'll do is I'll wait to find out when Paula is back, and we'll go into all of that. Now, I just want to say to everybody, thank you all for being here. You guys are awesome. Some fun facts, though. Julia is now taking it upon herself to just start teaching people English in prison. So that's what she's currently doing. Also, 95% of all the inmates are completely convinced of that she is, if you know what I'm saying. Excuse me. And yeah, she's got some interesting stories. I'll tell you what, the podcast interviews with Julia when she's out are going to be mad. She has met some characters in there, and she's doing really well. I mean, she's in prison, but for somebody who's in prison, she's doing real well. Like real well. Even when she has a crap day, it's like rather than drawing it out over 6 or 7 hours, she'll just have a really intense hour and then she's back. She's doing awesome. Hang on a minute. You know what? Some of you, right? I don't like. There's one lady in particular. You know who you are, okay? You know who you are. This lady, I swear to God, she's not slept since Julia was arrested. Like, not slept. She is. There's loads of you, and it's not just one of you. There's so many of you that are bending over backwards to promote, to help, to educate everybody else on Julia's situation, and you should all be really proud of yourself, because some people on the internet just see stories or podcast individuals as entertainment. We're kind of brushed over as being people, and it's nice to see people come together the way that you all have. Now, this chair is a freaking nightmare. Where are my notes? Oh, Paula's back.
Sorry about that. Internet.
Right. The hamster goes get put back on the wheel.
No, it's just the light. You know, the electricity is shitty, and when it gets too low, the modem goes off.
Yeah.
Can't believe how red my face is.
You look great. It doesn't look like it. No, it looks red. Like it looks purposely red.
It looks lupus.
No, it doesn't. So, what I'm going to do, Paula, is I'm going to start grabbing some callers.
But didn't you want to play a little bit of the thing?
I mean, we can do. I'd rather people went.
Play the introduction. I love the introduction. Play the introduction.
All right.
Because
Yeah, okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
She was ridiculed.
Have you freaking frozen again? Yeah, right. I'll wait till Paula's back. Oh, she's back. She's back. She's back.
Discredited, but now new evidence has. She was ridiculed, discredited, but now new evidence has emerged. And maybe the world laughed too soon. Imagine an hourglass, one of those old ones, with thick glass and fine sand. The sand flows slowly, steadily, as if each grain carries the weight of time. But suddenly a crack appears. It makes no sound, it draws no attention, but it's there, growing, fracturing what once seemed solid. That's exactly what happened when Julia Wendell came forward saying, "I am Madeleine McCann." The world didn't believe her. She was called an opportunist, a fraud, a lunatic. The reaction was swift, almost automatic, as if everyone had already decided what was true and what was madness. But now something has changed. New evidence has surfaced. Data no one expected started to leak, like the sand in that hourglass, slipping through the cracks that most preferred to ignore. And maybe the world laughed too soon. Julia isn't just a confused young woman seeking attention. She carries within her a void where a childhood should be. No photos, no clear memories, no consistent documents. She also carries the weight of being rejected before she could even tell her story. No one wanted to listen. No one even wanted to ask. The Madeleine case became a symbol of collective pain, but at the same time, it became untouchable, closed, filed away, treated as an old wound no one wants to reopen. When Julia appeared, she poked at that wound, and the world responded with scorn. But what if, deep down, the rejection of Julia isn't about her, but about the fear of facing what might be hidden behind the sand that's already slipped away? This video won't tell you what to believe, but it will lay out the latest evidence, the most uncomfortable coincidences, and the questions no one had the courage to ask, because the time for certainty is over. Now is
also, listen, detective guy who made this documentary, right?
He's very good.
Go and do me a favor and don't ever AI generate moving pictures of missing or potentially dead children ever again. It is jarring and it is unbecoming. Other than that, you nailed it.
Was the time for nagging doubt, for cracked silence, for what leaks through the gaps. If this touches you, if you also feel that the hourglass is about to turn, then stay with me. Because the next piece of this story might just be the one that makes everything, absolutely everything, change. Oh, and if you're one of those people who believes that the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, needs to be heard, subscribe to this channel. Because today we don't look away, we turn the hourglass. In 2007, the face of a 3-year-old girl was plastered across newspapers, TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. That's the whole thing, that people were so quickly to dismiss it. And the article that you read before, prior to this, the way they framed it is like what they said, that the mother, her fantasist daughter, they're already framing it in such a way that the first thing you read before you even get to Julia's name is that she's a fantasist, that
Right.
even her own family don't believe her, and that she is endangering her poor family. Who and the reason why they're saying this fashion thing, because they wanna elevate the family while denigrate Julia.
Well, here's the thing, right? We had the headline about the DNA, right? And then we had Julia arrested. And the first headline was like, deranged Polish girl thinks she's Madeleine McCann, arrested. It was all very degrading and detrimental to her public image. And it seems to be a repeating issue with Julia when they report on her. It was the same when she was out in the USA on the build up to her going on to Dr. Phil. It was the same. And you got to question what is really going on here at this point. Because again, 20 million spent and you're not willing to rule people out. What? I want my money back. I want my money back, man.
It is actually, if you think about it, here I don't blame anybody else other than the police and whoever. I mean, can you imagine that they sent him, one of the most experts guys in the world, as from the government, a top head of the government. They sent it to them, to as their PR person. I mean, as a parent, why would you need a PR person, especially one of the top former PR people in the government? Why are you thinking of PR? Why aren't you thinking of where the F if is my little girl? Because as a parent, I mean, knock on wood, it's never happened. Like I would be thinking. I talked to somebody whose daughter is missing. Well, now it's pretty much she believes she's dead or whatever, right? But she says that every night, it's been almost 11 years, she goes to bed, she can't sleep, and before she goes to sleep, she's wondering where her kid is, what's happening to her, what they're doing to her. I mean, if she has a bed to sleep, she feels guilty sleeping.
Of course. Interesting one there. Eva Angel is saying the Ramseys also used PR. That's another case you're quite familiar with, Paula, and a lot of people are actually bringing up that case since Madeleine's case has been back in the news again. I need to quickly nip away and I'll be away just for I need to go and quickly do something. Surviving Life is happening today, yes. You'll get an update after this live, and then it'll be posted, and I'll explain what basically, in order to use StreamYard, which is the software we use to stream, the channels that you're going to be streaming on have to be connected to StreamYard, and the channel owners have to connect them. So Beverly's got hers connected, I've got mine connected, I've just got to get Big Homie's connected, and then we'll know what we're doing. And I can't check it because I have to sign out of this one. Paul is frozen again, so I can't go and do what I'm doing. What show is this? It's written right underneath the box you're watching, unless you're watching on a television, Caroline, or Corrine, sorry. It is Katie Hopkins says that this case gives her Epstein vibes, which is the McCann case. And we've been talking about the support that is growing online for Julia, and the fact that the narrative should be, why were we so quick to write her off when she has so many reasons to deserve to know who she is. Right, Paul, I'm going to leave you here for 2 minutes and I'll be right back. Talk about Bing Bang Ramsey for a minute, if you can.
The Jean-Benet Ramsey thingy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because people are bringing this one up too, because
Okay. Yeah, the Jean-Benet thing. The Jean-Benet thing is exactly the same thing. There were wealthy parents. Did you know that that Jean-Benet, John Benet, that was his name. This is why Jean-Benet was called Jean-Benet, because it was a combination of the father's name, because he was such a narcissist. But that he was very good friends with Bill Clinton, who was the governor or something like that, and he gave the order not for them not to be investigated or some crap like that. I can't really remember. I'm sorry, guys. My hair is driving me crazy. So it's the same thing. I believe that there was two-tier justice differently back then than it is now. I needed my glasses too. Well. So there was a two-tier justice because they were so well-respected doctors, and I don't understand why every prime minister stuck with them and continue Bill Clinton. Yes, exactly, Bill Clinton. And let me tell you something here. I'm going to show you. John Benet was Mr. John Benet, friends with Clinton. Yes, with Bill Clinton. Exactly. He was the governor, I believe, let me see, Jean Benet. No, I wrote the name wrong. I wrote the name wrong, so that's why. I'm sorry about that. Okay, William Bennett. His name was William John Bennett. I think so. Is that it? No, that's not it. I'm all over the place right now. Is it the John Benet daughter? But he's friends with John Benet and the Foundation for New Era. It's something. It has to do with the Clintons. They were friends with the Clintons, anyways. He was the governor of Arkansas. Exactly. Yes. Thank you. He was the governor of Arkansas. So he gave the order because he was very good friends. So this is why the district attorney. And did you know that the grand jury decided to indict the Ramsays? They decided to indict them, but it was the district attorney who decided not to. And because you're not supposed to say the result or the outcome of a grand jury in investigation or whatever, nobody said. But then later on, the grand jury spoke and said, we actually did say we wanted them indicted, but because the district attorney said no, he's not going to indict it. And the way he phrased it was so fishy, because he said something like, he didn't say that the grand jury didn't indict. He just said that, it had been decided that they were not going to be indicted. So yeah, so Bill Clinton was involved with John Benet with the Ramsey guy, and they got away. They got away with everything, and it is unbelievable. But the thing is with Julia, guys, and I was asking, and I ask you honestly, guys, do you guys think that if she has 69% DNA, she could be a cousin or something like that? Because if I know for a fact that if Jerry McCann were her father, she would be 99.99%. And they never give you 100%. And the reason, and if you're asking me for 99.99, is because they never give you the 100%. So she would have been at 99.99% match for Jerry McCann, but 69%, that's about a cousin, or at least some family member. And I wonder if there's a family member of that family that's missing. I don't know, but it just sounds so fishy. And I feel sorry for Julia. I really do feel sorry for Julia. I don't think she deserves what she's getting. I think that she should be able to walk out. I think that she shouldn't be where she is right now. I think that people should be more, like we just heard in that documentary, people should be a little bit more compassionate. This is a young lady in search of her identity. There are things that are clearly missing. And her parents, the fact that her parents, guys, I've heard people saying, well, if her parents say she's crazy, why don't they ask the questions? Why would her parents throw her under the bus and not be more compassionate on the article they gave? Why would the parents go and brand her a fantasist? Why try to destroy her reputation before that? Why would the parents destroy the credibility or the reputation and not be more compassionate about it? And my only finding is that they've done something shady that they much rather destroy, because I lived through this, guys. They much rather destroy your reputation. So when you speak out, you're not credible. You're not believed.
Yeah.
I lived through that for 9 years.
I sorry, I was just reading an article there about Julia from the other day. Just talking about her pleading not guilty. Are you being really still, or have you frozen? Have you just crashed the second that I got back? That was timing. That was timing. So I just want to say, if you're on my Discord, you'll know that I'm slowly updating the Patreon, and I've got a couple of little giveaways that I'm going to be doing on my Patreon this week. I got a wonderful bit of agate from Nova for my birthday, and I bought these little necklace things that you like put the stone in and then you keep it, whatever. But it came with extra ones, so I'm going to make up some of those and then randomly pick a couple of patrons and send them out, because why not? Because you're all awesome. Right, so let's go to the call-in. Uber, you're up first as always, and then I think it's KLG, and then Pam, and then Lady Kate. So Uber, when you're ready, sir, you are live on the Shaun Attwood channel. How are you?
Well, I've on the Don. I'm good, mate. How are you?
I have got the most angry spot thing on my lip here, right? It's not really on my lip. It's like my mustache. It's like it was a tiny little spot, and then I've started like going to town on it. Do you know what I mean? Like getting my nail in there. And
people that are so handsome, Ron, need some little, imperfections.
It's humbling, right? It's humbling, but it's so ouchy. It's so ouchy.
I don't have face fungus, mate, so I don't worry about that. So
a breathless Ron. Yeah, Ron went up the stairs and then forgot what he went up the stairs for, and then had to go back up the stairs. And
welcome to my world.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So Uber. So
yes, mate.
Where are we at with all this now, man? Like,
well, look, I remember this happening. I know where I was, exactly what I was doing when I heard this come on the news, and this was before I got into statement analysis, and I knew things weren't right, that things just weren't adding up with those two. So I got the sense straight away that things were off. And then Peter Hyatt Richard D. Hall did the interview with Peter Hyatt, the statement analyst, and it just opened up a whole new world. And there's so much leakage. There's what they call embedded confessions. Paula hit on a really good note earlier when she says that about the boat going out of the water. There's been a lot of leakage, especially from Katie, about wells and water.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing theory that she could be out in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
what am I going to say, Ron?
It sounds really twisted, but it's not really that far offshore before you get to international waters. Like nope. it's actually quite scary, right? Because once you're in international waters, there's no one's watching you, you know. And I'll be honest with you, if I was to give you my is this individual no longer on this planet theory, I would be 100% putting my chips on a sea burial, if you will.
Well, Ron, both Kate and Jerry have slipped up and have referred to Maddie in the past tense. Now that is a massive red flag. You only talk about somebody in the past tense when you know they're gone.
Yeah.
There's so much evidence against those two, yet they're still walking the streets because they're so well connected, in my opinion. And it's, you know, there's a lot of opinions. Deception Detective, I've followed him since he started. He's got the same theories as Pete Hyatt. I think we both learned from Pete Hyatt, to be honest with you.
Right.
But there's just so much there, Ron. And I mean, I'm a firm believer in Occam's razor as well. It's like link the least amount of dots. The straightest line possible is probably the best theory and the correct theory.
Yeah.
And I'm not into all this conspiracy theory stuff about, oh, they could have done this, they could have done that. Me personally, I'm not worried about what they could possibly have done. I know that there's a girl missing. I know what I think about her state. And I know what I think about the parents' guilty knowledge. Everything else to me is just questions until that girl is found, or at least there's evidence of her being somewhere in some kind of state.
Yeah, it's
there's too much, Rob. There's too much, and you're right. There are little fingerprints of the Ramseys because, like Paula said, they used the same PR person. And the video I was referring to earlier, for the girl in the chat that was asking me to speak, the video I was referring to earlier, there was a home movie made with the McCanns and all their Tapas 9 crew. And the guy holding the camera says to Jerry, "Cheer up, Jerry, you're going on holiday." And his exact words were, "I'm not effing going there to have fun, though, am I?" So,
damn.
Why are you going on holiday, Jerry? Why are
can
you?
Can you find that, not now, but can you try and find that clip for me?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Because if you find that clip, then we'll bring another couple of other clips in, and we'll get you on, and you can do your freaking shim, whatever it is you do. Yeah, that.
You want me to?
Yeah, 100%. Of course you do. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not a professional. You're learning, but you're certainly, proved that you're not a crazy person. So
I've been at it for
Paula, on you go.
There was this guy who was a body language, Minicity, who was a body language expert, and he did this thing where he said that he grabbed a video of Kate McCann, and he did a perfect description. He said that the way she was talking, that he could tell that she was describing her daughter's death.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. He said very well, because he said he is, I'm going to find that for you. I think his name was Peter something, and
he's a statement analyst. Yeah.
Yes, and what he did is, like, he said that there was absolutely no. He is an international. I mean, he's a top of the line linguistic guy, and he said that they did a documentary where Kate McCann is talking about how she rocked her daughter to sleep, how she saw her, and she's doing this and that, and he's giving you detail by detail. He's telling you she's describing her daughter dead, and how she put her down gently and stuff like that, and the way he was.
Confession leakage.
Do you remember that documentary that he did? It was absolutely unbelievable, because he says that she's describing to us. He goes, and this is a guy who's not like a conspiracy theorist, Ron. This is like one of the.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you.
And he says she's confessing what happened to her daughter. She's telling us there that her daughter's dead, and what she did with it. How she
allegedly said that.
No, he said it in the documentary that he did.
All right, okay, that's fine.
It's on YouTube.
He's Peter Hyatt. That was Peter Hyatt.
Sorry, I'm so used to just throwing out allegedly. I'm sorry, it's a reflex at this point.
He was a world-renowned statement analyst, and he was all over this, and then it just opened up a whole can of worms for us. So
yeah, damn.
Yeah, and he talked about it. He said he talked about it, and he said he just focused on that speech that she gave, how she put her down. She didn't say how she went to sleep. She said how I put her down.
Yeah, do you know what's an interesting one, Eva, about the cadaver dogs, right? All we know is they smell death, right? We don't know whose corpse it was. We don't know whose body could have been in the back of the car or whatever. who's to say there wasn't a price to pay to clean up this mess? You just don't know.
I'll send you this. Share. Let me see. I know I don't
Allegedly.
No, I'll share I'll send you this by WhatsApp, Ron. It's a long documentary, but then this is about the documentary that I was telling you